Hey guys, welcome back to the BuzWeaver channel, and in our top stories today from The Hill, ABC News suspends Terry Moran over post calling Trump a world-class hater. Of course, as you guys know, as subscribers to the BuzWeaver channel, that the media is just an extension of the Democrat Party, a mouthpiece and narrative pusher. ABC News on Sunday suspended senior national correspondent Terry Moran after he sharply criticized President Trump and his top aide, Stephen Miller, in a social media post earlier that day. In the since-deleted post on X, screenshots of which were shared on social media, Moran called Trump and Miller, Deputy Chief of Staff for Policy and Homeland Security Adviser, world-class haters. Miller's a man who is richly endowed with the capacity for hatred. He's a world-class hater, Moran wrote in the X post. You can see this just by looking at him, because you can see that his hatreds are his spiritual nourishment. He eats his hate. Wow, that's pretty explosive language there, Terry. Trump is a world-class hater, Moran continued in the post, but his hatred only a means to an end, and that end is his own glorification. That's his spiritual nourishment. Ladies and gentlemen, he just basically described the Democrat or the Trump detractors. He basically described Trump detractors from his own drawn from personal experience. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, because, of course, when you see the left say these things, it's drawing from their own personal experiences and the way that they perceive the world. Their worldview, they despise Donald Trump. This is not a mystery to a single person who is a subscriber to the BuzWeaver channel. So hit that like button, as you already know, ladies and gentlemen, that the left and Trump detractors despise Donald Trump. They spent 8 years trying to convince everyone that Donald Trump was a one-dimensional villain. It's absolutely extraordinary. And here we have it here on X, the actual post itself. Drive-by media, the legacy media seems to be on the verge of total meltdown. Last night, ABC's journalist Terry Moran called Trump and his staff world-class haters. Today, ABC suspended Moran, presumably concerned with his mental stability and lack of judgment. And ladies and gentlemen, I think the lack of judgment in all this, of course, is very apparent, at least for the Democrats and the left that are falling apart. And this is not even to mention what's going on in California there, in Paramount, California, and in Los Angeles. And ironically enough, a lot of the sampling that I did over the weekend covering that was not as engaging as I thought it would be for some people. So I did want to mention this, though, of course, so I wasn't like overlooking one of the glaring stories from this weekend. But, of course, you guys can pause and watch this. Let's see what this portion here is.
Do you think the reputation of the
Here's Terry.
United States has gone down under your presidency?
No, I think it's gone way up, and I think we're a respected country again. We were laughed at all over the world. We had a president that couldn't walk up a flight of stairs, couldn't walk down a flight of stairs, couldn't walk across a stage without falling. We had a president that was grossly incompetent. You knew it, I knew it, and everybody knew it, but you guys didn't want to write it because you're fake news.
All right. Thank you.
And by the way, ABC is one of the worst. I have to be honest with you.
Oh, yeah, you guys remember that interview. Absolutely amazing. And ABC left it in, which is interesting. But, of course, Terry Moran was very embarrassed and humiliated by it. And this was kind of, his response. He just couldn't take it anymore because of what all was going on. Of course, all this was heightened and just amplified because of everything that was going on in California. The frustration level, and you have to understand, of course, you guys, most of you do understand, that, Trump is now the president of the United States. And the left is not accustomed to politicians saying they're going to do something and then actually doing it, right? They go about doing certain things to give people the impression, because a lot of it is just ideological, right? As we've talked about here on the BuzWeaver channel. The idea, well, now that Donald Trump is the president, the fact that he is the president is the ideological factor for them. In other words, they see the fact that he is there as an oppressive thing, but no switch was flipped that suddenly made them vulnerable or oppressed. It's just the idea that it's Donald Trump and that Donald Trump is doing what he says he's going to do. This infuriates them. This is why you see all of the anger and hostility at the town hall meetings when Democrats appear there, or even now, even on social media. But the Democrats in and of themselves can't simply stop Donald Trump. They can't remove him. As we say here on the BuzWeaver channel, their idea is that Donald Trump is some third-party person that infiltrated the chief executive office to undermine their will. In other words, Trump's very existence is counter to their worldview. And we're seeing this across the board. But here we see, basically Moran just snapped and went off on ABC News or here on X, as you can see his post here. And yeah, he just lost it. He couldn't take it anymore. And then he made this post at 12:06 a.m. on the 8th. So that would have been Sunday, because as of this recording, obviously, it's Monday, June the 9th. So this was June the 8th on Sunday, when all the riots were right at the peak that was all going on. So the Democrats not only are dealing with what's going on in California, but they're dealing with the fact that Trump is succeeding and accomplishing. And as we cover here on Shorts, if you're following me, obviously, all my links down below. Any of my social medias, you can see the posts that I make about even how 𝐀𝐟𝐿𝐼𝐷, right, is expressing that Trump is succeeding when he's doing all of his reports for CNN, the stats that he's pointing out there, and they're doing very well. And Scott Jennings also coming on, the correspondent for CNN, just outlining the fact that Trump is simply succeeding in all that he is doing. And instead of these Democrats responding to, well, how can we do what we need to do to help our constituents in a way that's constructive and substantive, they just basically want to incite. And we saw that, of course, from Tim Walz as well, where he was saying, Trump was a big bully, and, you have to take care of bullies, And so you see this inciting. And what was it, 2 days later, that's when we saw what happened in Colorado, in Boulder, right? So you get these people on the left excited and amped up, as we see in California, and this creates a huge problem. But I do welcome your guys' thoughts down in the comments section. I mean, we are watching the Democrats essentially implode. They are falling apart. And they're trying to hold it together because they do still have the media as their platform to reach the masses, although not a lot of people watch mainstream media anymore. But let me know down in the comments if you still occasionally watch mainstream media. Of course, I do, just to be able to keep up with what all is going on, to give you guys a better picture and then break it down. But I do appreciate all your guys' continued support. That's NewTek, BitChute, Rumble, and Odyssey. And, of course, everyone here on YouTube, you guys have been amazing. Below the video, as I mentioned before, you can find all my social media links. And, of course, if you order frequently from Amazon or are a Amazon Prime member, that's right, if you're up there with those, you can use my landing page link. Your privacy is protected. And, of course, speaking of privacy online, my favorite VPN, Trust Zone, gets you straight to what you need to do. Just gets you right to what you need to do. I love that. Just turn it on and go. That's down below. You guys can check those out. Of course, your likes, your shares, and your comments do help out the channel tremendously, so I do appreciate it all. And, of course, appearing there on the screen for everyone who is watching on YouTube, that would be the channel icon. You guys can click on that to subscribe, as well as to select notifications. That way you know when there's content here on the channel. And I'll see all you guys in the next video.